Shalom, shalom. I want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. My name is Brother Napak from the Camp Prophets in Babylon, Dyer in Tempe, Florida. And I want to give divine and elders and apostles a great millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. And I want to get into a quick lesson. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. And I want to get into this post when the brethren made GMS Dedications, his YouTube channel. It says, sometimes Yahweh takes you on a journey you didn't know you needed to bring you everything you ever wanted. Trust the process. All right. And it's just, stuck with my spirit because, these times where, we would try to predict our lives and our plans in this life and what we're going to do. And, the Lord takes you on a whole unexpected, plot twist, as you would say, because the plot that you had in mind didn't go through, and it was something way different, but it will still get you everything that you truly wanted. All right. Because what you thought you wanted wasn't really what you wanted. It wasn't really what you needed. All right. But the Lord would take you on that journey to give you everything you needed and wanted. Okay. And something I was, thinking about with this is, this truth. All right. When we all came across this gospel, across this knowledge, this true knowledge, before you plotted out, being everything you wanted in this world. Some brothers wanted to play ball, some brothers wanted to, be a rapper, or different things that brothers sought out, in this world to do. But you had a certain time and moment where that plot twist came in and you found the truth, the true understanding. And now we have been walking on this journey ever since. All right. The Lord took us on this journey, and now the Lord is giving us everything we wanted. All right. Because when we thought, in the world, once we make it in this life, you get the riches, fame, and money, and all these different things, you will have peace, you will have fulfillment, you'll be content. All right. Finally. All right. You won't be, in much of want for anything. All right. But instead, all right, the Lord brought us this truth, but we still have all those things, peace, fulfillment, content. All right. Because we seek the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and we seek out this knowledge. Okay. So now I want to get this, precept, the brother put in for his caption as well in the GNT. This is Proverbs 3 and verse 5. It says, trust in the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai with all your heart. Never rely on what you think you know. All right. Never rely on what you think you know. Okay. And that's what, a lot of times through the flesh, that's what we do. All right. We try to rely on the things that we think we know. We think is going to happen. We think is going to come out to be. We rely on those things, man. All right. We put our whole mind and heart into that thought, into that plan. All right. And a lot of times when that, doesn't come to fruition, you would kind of be, as they would say, hurt. All right. You'll be broken. Okay. Because it didn't go the way you planned. All right. Because you relied on it so much. You put everything into it. You put all your heart, your mind, your efforts into this one thing, and then it didn't go as planned. All right. That's why, it tells us to trust in the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Go with the way the Lord wants you to go. Go with the flow of things. All right. And that's one thing we understand coming to this truth is once you go with the flow of things and you trust in the Lord ultimately brings you everything you ever wanted. The Lord brings you everything you desire. You just got to go with the flow. All right. Jake be trying to force things, man. Force a plan, force something out of, this world, to gain, and a lot of times that force, pulls those things away from you. All right. You try to force yourself to have peace, force yourself to have fulfillment and to be content and, go into different, things or occupations or different jobs or whatever, just to have that fulfillment. And you never have it. You never have it. But it says, remember the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai in everything you do, and he will show you the right way. All right, so remember the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai in everything you do. In everything, man. All right, in all your works, think of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Seek out the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and everything will be brought to you. All right? Everything that you need, your spirit needs, that your spirit is calling upon, it will be brought to you. All right. And he will show you the right way. That's what the Lord is doing. He's constantly showing and leading us the right way as long as we remember and trust in him. All right. So this is, a walk, all right, that we walk by faith and not by sight. All right. The scripture says that. This is one of those walks, man. You continue to walk by faith and not by what you see or what you heard or any of these physical senses. All right, but we walk by our spiritual senses. All right, our spiritual eyes, our spiritual ears. Looking at everything and discerning everything through the Spirit. It says, never let yourself think that you are wiser than you are. Simply obey the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and refuse to do wrong. Never let yourself think you're wiser than what you really are, man. All right, because that will always lead you, into misfortune, as you would say, because you would think you know everything. You would think you got everything down pat. You would think you understand everything. You know, just what's the word for it? My mind just been everywhere, man. Salakia. But Jake would think they just high priest Booba and all these different things, and ultimately you're just a servant, man, of the Lord. Understand you're just a servant, man. All right, just to serve the Lord. You're here to serve the Lord. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right. Don't think of yourself wiser than what you truly are. Understanding, and be humble at your position. All right, where you're at now, what you're doing now. Be humble about it, man. All right, because you think you this high statured guy. All right, in your wisdom, all right, and in your knowledge. A lot of times you don't want to listen to any correction. All right. You don't want to listen to, spiritual advice. All right. And that advice and correction could be coming from the Lord. All right. And you would, disregard it, which will lead you into misfortune. All right. So that's why the Lord said, don't think you're rising than, what you really are, bro. Don't, because the scripture says knowledge puffeth up. All right, so don't get all puffed up, man. Don't think you just that guy, man. All right. Now, ain't nothing wrong with confidence, but there's something definitely wrong with the delusion, all right, of thinking you just, the top guy when you're not. Okay? Understand and have the humbleness to understand that you're not that guy. Okay? And the Lord will surely show you every time. All right? When the Lord put you on, do that plot twist in your life, and that plot twist, it may hit. Like it's gonna hit, man, because now like everything that you trusted in or you put your mind in, you tried to do, it's switched around on you. All right. Now you gotta just trust, into something that you don't know you're going into. All right, and that's what this walk is about. It says, simply obey the Lord Yahweh Yahushua and refuse to do wrong. If you do, it will be like good medicine, healing your wounds and easing your pain. So just trusting the Lord, Yahweh Yahushua, obeying the Lord, remembering the Lord in everything you do, it's going to be like good medicine, man. Healing your wounds, easing your pain so you don't stress no more. You don't think too hard about things. You don't overthink anymore. You're just going with the flow of how the Lord is, allowing things to flow. Okay, and that's the beautiful thing about it. All right. That's the great thing about it. All right. Is, going with the flow, moving with the river, putting your faith into what you don't see. All right, but still having faith and trusting into that journey. Okay. um, let's get that. We make our own plans. Let's get that. Yeah, Proverbs 16. And I believe it said 18. No. 16 and 9. There we go. It's Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 9. I want to get in the NLT. It says, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. All right, so you can make your own plans. You can make your own route on where you want to be in life and where you want to go in life. But the Lord is the one that determines that route. All right, determines your steps. All right, determine where you're going to go and where you're going to be in the future. All right, and that's just me speaking from experience as well, is that, there was times where I thought that I would, have certain things, be a certain way, do certain things. All right, and the Lord will, do a whole 360 on my life, man. And now it's like I gotta, you got to adjust to that new way, that new journey. Adjust yourself to it. All right, to continue out so you don't bug yourself out, man. That's, you got to be able to be adjustable, and that's what the Lord is doing, is making us adjustable to all standards and things in this life. So once all hell does break loose, all right, you're gonna be able to easily adjust to that as well. So with that, I just want to get into a quick lesson on that, because like I said, I was moved through the spirit with that post. I was meditating on that, man. So Lord willing, Akim was moved with the same spirit I was moved in, man. So Shalom Akim, Yabashmi Yabashai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Shalom.